Greetings to all of you. Let's try to briefly know about those great people who are immortal today. Val Edward Kilmer, December 31st, 1959, April 1st, 2025, was an American actor. Initially a stage actor, he later found fame as a leading man in films in a wide variety of genres, including comedies, dramas, action-adventures, westerns, historical films, crime dramas, science fiction films, and fantasy films. Films in which Kilmer appeared grossed more than $3, $85 billion worldwide. In 1992, film critic Roger Ebert remarked, "If there is an award for the most unsung leading man of his generation, Kilmer should get it." Kilmer started his film career in the comedy films Top Secret, 1984, and Real Genius, 1985, before transitioning to dramatic films. He rose to prominence for playing Iceman in Top Gun, 1986, Jim Morrison in The Doors, 1991, Doc Holliday in Tombstone, 1993, and Batman Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever, 1995. He also gained acclaim for his roles in Willow, 1988, Thunderheart, 1992, True Romance, 1993, and Heat, 1995. He later acted in films such as The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1996, The Saint, 1997, The Prince of Egypt, 1998, The Salton Sea, 2002, Alexander, 2004, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 2005, Deja Vu, 2006, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, 2009, MacGruber, 2010, The Snowman, 2017, and Song to Song, 2017. Kilmer made his final film appearance in Top Gun, Maverick, 2022, reprising his role from the original film. On stage, Kilmer made his Broadway theater debut acting in the John Byrne working-class play The Slab Boys, 1983. He also acted in productions of William Shakespeare's history play Henry IV, Part 1, 1981, and in the John Ford tragedy 'Tis Pity She's a Whore, 1992, both at the Public Theater. He portrayed Mark Twain in a one-man show he had written titled Citizen Twain in a 2012 production in Los Angeles. In 2015, Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer. He subsequently underwent a tracheal procedure that damaged his vocal cords, leaving him with severe difficulty speaking. He also underwent chemotherapy and 2 tracheotomies, and died of pneumonia in 2025. He released his memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, a memoir, 2020, and the documentary, Val, 2021, both of which detail career and health struggles of the actor. Early life and education. Val Edward Kilmer was born December 31st, 1959, in Los Angeles, California, the second of 3 sons to Gladys Swanette, née Eckstadt, 1928-2019, and Eugene Doris Kilmer, 1921-1993. His mother was of Swedish descent, and his father's ancestry included Irish, German, and Cherokee roots. His parents divorced in 1968 when he was 8 years old. In 1970, his mother married William Bernard Leach. Kilmer's grandfather was a gold miner in New Mexico, near its border with Arizona. Kilmer was raised with Christian Science beliefs, which he maintained in general for most of his life. In 1977, Kilmer's younger brother Wesley, 1961 to 1977, who had epilepsy, drowned in a jacuzzi at age 16. He attended Chatsworth High School at the same time as Kevin Spacey. His high school girlfriend was Mare Winningham. He became the youngest person at the time to be accepted into the Juilliard School's drama division, where he was a member of Group 10. Career: 1980-1989, early roles in comedy films. Kilmer declined a role in Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 film The Outsiders, as he had prior theater commitments. In 1983, he appeared off-Broadway in The Slab Boys with Kevin Bacon, Sean Penn, and Jackie Earle Haley. That same year, his first off-stage acting role, excluding television commercials, came in the form of an episode of ABC after-school special called One Too Many, although it did not air until 1985. It was an educational drama on drinking and driving, and co-starred a young Michelle Pfeiffer. Also in 1983, Kilmer self-published a collection of his own poetry entitled My Edens After Burns, that included poems inspired by his time with Pfeiffer. This book of poems is difficult to obtain and expensive. Known second-hand copies cost $300 and up. His big break came when he received top billing in the comedy spoof of spy movies Top Secret, in which he played an American rock and roll star. Kilmer sang all the songs in the film and released an album under the film character's name, Nick Rivers. During a brief hiatus, Kilmer backpacked throughout Europe before going on to play the lead character in the 1985 comedy Real Genius. He turned down a role in David Lynch's Blue Velvet before being cast as naval aviator Tom "Iceman" Kazansky in the action film Top Gun alongside Tom Cruise. Top Gun grossed a total of over $344 million worldwide and made Kilmer a major star. Following roles in the television films The Murders, In the Rue Morgue, and The Man Who Broke 1,000 Chains, Kilmer portrayed Mad Mardigan in the fantasy Willow. He met his future wife, co-star Joanne Whalley, on the film's set. Kilmer starred in the Colorado Shakespeare Festival production of Hamlet in 1988. In 1989, Kilmer played the lead in both Kill Me Again, again opposite Whalley, and a supporting role in Gore Vidal's Billy the Kid. 1990-1995, stardom with The Doors and Batman. After several delays, director Oliver Stone finally started production on the film The Doors, based on the story of the band of the same name. Kilmer spoke with Oliver Stone early on, concerned about what he might want to do with the story because Kilmer did not believe in or want to promote substance abuse. Kilmer saw Jim Morrison as having picked the wrong heroes who had different issues, which were not part of the creativity or inspiration. Kilmer saw Morrison's story as one that could be told 1,000 different ways, and did not want to tell it by playing the role in the style of drugs, with which Oliver Stone agreed. Kilmer memorized the lyrics to all of lead singer Morrison's songs prior to his audition, and sent a video of himself performing some Doors songs to director Stone. Stone was not impressed with the tape, but Paul A. Rothchild, the original producer of The Doors, said, "I was shaken by it," and suggested they record Kilmer in the studio. After Kilmer was cast as Morrison, he prepared for the role by attending Doors tribute concerts and reading Morrison's poetry. He spent close to a year before production dressing in Morrison-like clothes and spent time at Morrison's old hangouts along the Sunset Strip. His portrayal of Morrison was praised, and members of The Doors noted that Kilmer did such a convincing job that they had trouble distinguishing his voice from Morrison's. Paul Rothchild played Kilmer's version of The End for the band's guitarist, Robbie Krieger, who told him, "I'm really glad they got the end. We never got a recording of that live with Jim, and now we've got it." However, Doors keyboardist Ray Manzarek was less than enthusiastic with how Morrison was portrayed in Stone's interpretation. In the early 1990s, Kilmer starred in the mystery thriller Thunderheart, the action comedy The Real McCoy, and again teamed with Top Gun director Tony Scott to play Elvis Presley in True Romance, which was written by Quentin Tarantino. In 1993, Kilmer played Doc Holliday in the Western Tombstone alongside Kurt Russell. In the film, Doc Holliday performs Chopin's Nocturne in E minor, Op. 72, number 1. However, Kilmer did not play the piano, and he practiced that one piece for months in preparation. In 1995, Kilmer starred in Wings of Courage, a 3D IMAX film, and that same year, he starred opposite Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in Heat, which is now considered one of the best crime drama films of the 1990s. In December 1993, Batman Forever director Joel Schumacher had seen Tombstone and was most impressed with Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday. Schumacher felt him to be perfect for the role of Batman, though at the time the role was still Michael Keaton's. In July 1994, Keaton decided not to return for a third Batman film after 1992's Batman Returns, due to creative differences. William Baldwin, who previously worked with Schumacher on Flatliners, was reported to be a top contender, though just days after Keaton dropped out, Kilmer was cast. Kilmer took the role without even knowing who the new director was, and without reading the script. Released in June 1995, Batman Forever was a success at the box office, despite receiving mixed reviews from critics. There was debate about Kilmer's performance. Some critics, such as the New York Times' Janet Maslin, thought Kilmer was a poor successor to Keaton in the part, while others, such as Roger Ebert, had kind words for Kilmer. Batman co-creator Bob Kane said in a Cinescape interview that of all the actors to have played Batman up to that point, he felt Kilmer had given the best interpretation. Film critic Leonard Maltin, who criticized the dark tone contained in Batman Returns, complimented Kilmer's portrayal when he reviewed the film in his 2009 In February 1996, Kilmer decided not to return for another Batman feature film, feeling that Batman was being marginalized in favor of the villains and because of scheduling problems with the Saint. George Clooney replaced Kilmer as Batman in 1997's Batman and Robin. There were also reports that Kilmer had a bad working relationship with Schumacher, as another reason for not reprising the role. 1996-2009. Further career. In 1996, he appeared in a largely unknown film, Dead Girl, and starred alongside Marlon Brando in the poorly received The Island of Dr. Moreau. That year, Kilmer starred alongside Michael Douglas in the thriller The Ghost and the Darkness. In 1997, he played Simon Templar in the popular action film The Saint. Kilmer looked forward to the title role as a change toward a more fun, less serious action thriller. While enjoying the master of disguise chameleon characters, including a mad artist, a nerdy British scientist, a cleaner, and a Russian mob boss. Kilmer also wrote the poetry in the film. He received a salary of $6 million for the movie. The Saint was a financial success, grossing $169.4 million worldwide. In 1998, he voiced both Moses and God in the animated film The Prince of Egypt, before starring in the independent film Joe the King, 1999. Also in 1999, he played a blind man in the drama From Romance at First Sight, which he described as being, as of then, the hardest role he had ever had. Death and tributes. On April 1, 2025, Kilmer died of pneumonia in Los Angeles at age 65. Other contributing underlying factors towards his death included acute hypoxemic respiratory failure, chronic respiratory failure, squamous cell carcinoma on the base of his tongue, malnutrition, and tracheocutaneous fistula. Kilmer was cremated on April 7th. Upon his death, filmmaker Michael Mann wrote, "While working with Val on Heat, I always marveled at the range, the brilliant variability within the powerful current of Val's possessing and expressing character. After so many years of Val battling disease and maintaining his spirit, this is tremendously sad news." Director Francis Ford Coppola wrote, "He was a wonderful person to work with and a joy to know. I will always remember him." Tom Cruise honored his Top Gun co-star at CinemaCon, asking for a moment of silence, saying, "I think it would be really nice if we could have a moment together because he loved movies, and he gave a lot to all of us. Just kind of think about all the wonderful times that we had with him."